Hello everyone, we are going to learn about the sexual reproduction in angiosperms. Now, angiosperms are the flowering plants. Now, sexual reproduction, it's a mode of reproduction which involves formation of gametes and development of new plants from seeds. Now, for the process of sexual reproduction, fertilization is required. Fertilization is a process of sexual reproduction in plants which occurs after pollination and pollen germination. Now, what do you mean by the term fertilization? Well, fertilization is the process of fusion of the male and female gametes, which are haploid cells which contains half the set of chromosome to form a diploid zygote. Now, diploid, a cell containing complete set of chromosomes. So, fertilization is a process of fusion of the male and female gametes to form a zygote. Now, how the process of fertilization takes place in these angiosperms, let us have a look at this. Now, we already have learned before the structure of a flower. The ellos of a flower we have studied before, the different parts of it. Now, we also know the reproductive parts of the flower, that is the stamen, which is the male part, and pistil, which is the female part. The anther of the stamen is producing a large amount of pollen grains, which contains male gametes. Each pollen grain contains 2 male gametes. Now, once this pollen gets transferred, the pollination takes place. The pollen here produces a tube which is known as pollen tube. When the pollen lands on the stigma of the flower belonging to the same species, the pollen produces a tube which is known as pollen tube. The pollen tube then grows down through the style carrying the male gametes and enters in the ovule. We have the female gamete, which is also known as the egg or the ovum. So once the pollen tube enters inside the ovule, it releases the male gametes. The male and female gamete fuses here, and the process is known as fertilization. There are certain changes which takes place inside the entire flower. So let us study these post-fertilization changes in the flowers. The first change is the sepals, petals, stamen, and the carpel. The pistil, carpel is the pistil, they dry and shed. In the carpel, the stigma and the style dry and fall, whereas the ovary of the pistil, it remains, it persists. The zygote, which was formed due to fertilization, undergoes cell division to form embryo. The zygote undergoes cell division to form the embryo. This embryo is the young plant inside. It is the young plant which can grow into entire organism. Now, after the zygote changes into embryo, the ovule, the entire ovule changes into the seed, and the ovary forms the fruit. The ovary forms the fruit. So the fruit is actually the ripened ovary which contains the seed, which actually protects the seed. The seed further can be used for the growth of a new plant. Thus, the process of fertilization leads to the formation of seeds which can be used for the growth of a new plant. Now, if you look at the clear diagram of fertilization, it is like this, wherein we see pollen germination, the pollen tube growing, carrying the male gametes inside. So I hope you understood the process of fertilization in these angiosperms or flowering plants. Thank you so much.